Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. How are you guys doing? Hello, folks from Charlotte in North Carolina. Yeah, let me check on my audio. There you go. Where are you guys at? Welcome back. So, what are they, huh? Unbelievable. Hindo, Ronnie Fredlin, Oklahoma. Wow, you're super far away from me. Yeah, please drop a comment down below. And let me know what stocks you guys want me to go over. But I gotta tell you, if you guys are trading individual stocks in the current market conditions, you're doing the wrong thing, guys. Frederick is in Georgia. You're super close from me. Battle 9345. Her path to purpose. I like that name. Her path to purpose. I like it. Ardy Hayes. Yeah, welcome back. So, let me ask you. I mean, this is a good question. Have you guys been trying to trade individual stocks? Say today, yesterday, maybe last week? If you're doing so, you're doing this backwards, guys. As of now, we don't have a market environment suitable in order to trade individual stocks. Why do I say that? Because the 98% of the stocks out there are simply following whatever the S&P 500 is doing. I have been warning you guys about this situation on Discord. Yes, over and over and over again. So today we can go over some individual stocks, guys, because you guys are always asking about, the same group of stocks. You guys always ask about Tessie and Nvda and Apple probably and so forth, right? But take a look at the trades that I took and closed today. Look, this was Newsmax. This was a speculative trade. But take a look. Spy puts. And take a look at this trade, guys. Spy puts. I ended up making $1,600 here, guys. I left 2 put options running overnight. The rest is history. Obviously, right? So, when we have, guys, for the most part, this guy trading above 20 points, the VIX, the volatility index, I forget about individual stocks. Look, the VIX closed today at 30 points. So you don't need to trade individual stocks here, guys. You can buy some dips, maybe. If you want to invest at a long term, maybe you like Google or Amazon or whatever. But it doesn't make any sense trying to take trades with Sofi or Palantir or Microsoft or Boeing or whatever. Because again, when the VIX is trading above 20 points, the 98% of stocks out there simply follow and do whatever the S&P 500 is doing. So if you ask me about individual stocks, today, I can point out some levels of interest, support, and stuff like that. But first of all, most of the charts, as of now, look very ugly. Most of the stocks that you guys like are in major downtrends. So it's not a good moment in order to try to take, a long trade with, you guys know the stocks that I am talking about, the Googles of the world and the Amazons of the world and the Sofis of the world and so forth. So I can point out some levels of interest, but you need to focus 100% in the S&P, on the S&P 500. That's it. And if you are doing that, you need to keep an eye on my Discord channel, guys. Take a look at all the information that I posted today. And let me ask you guys, are you guys finding value in the information that I am sharing with you on a daily basis on Discord? I was super active today, starting at 6 a.m., guys. Take a look. 6:17 a.m. And I wanted to point this out, guys. Take a look. You know that we are using a pivot every day, guys. The very first thing that I point out on Discord from a technical standpoint is our pivot. I said today, take a look. This was at what time? Let me see. What time was it? I don't see the time. Okay, 9:21 a.m. I am also making jokes. Yeah, this job, guys, being a full-time trader is, hard enough. So whenever I can, make some jokes here and there, I'm going to do it, right? So at 9:21 a.m., I told you guys, our early pivot comes in today at $546.90. Take a look. And oh boy, was this number important today. Let's reconcile this information with a 1 day, 1 minute chart of the SPY. Let's check that out. Take a look. Look. The bulls weren't able to consolidate above $546.90. This was at 9:40 a.m. as soon as the trading session opened. And then we had another attempt in order to burst above $546.90. And the bulls weren't able to consolidate above that level. The bulls were not able to burst above to recapture our pivot, or the pivot that I told you guys about earlier on today, before the trading session opened. And this level was absolutely key today, guys. And then, take a look. This was so I told you guys about the pivot at 9:21 a.m. But then, take a look at what I said, guys. Take a look at the time, 9:54 a.m. I said, I cannot emphasize enough how important $446.90 is, guys. 9:54 a.m. And look. So we saw a retest, or an attempt, in order to burst above the pivot. At noon, they failed at trying to burst above the pivot, and the rest is history, guys. And take a look at all the information that I am posting throughout the whole trading session, guys, on Discord. I am making jokes. Why not? We can have some fun, right? So I am super active, guys, and whenever there's a lot of volatility out there, you can count on me. I am going to be very, but very active, as I say, joking, calling balls and strikes. So we can go over the SPY today, and I can, do a technical analysis of the SPY, which is looking extremely ugly. But you don't need to, you don't have to be worried about the SPY, guys. Unless something unexpected comes up, tomorrow I am going to be super active once again in Discord, letting you guys know the most important levels of interest that you need to keep in mind. I was tempted, in order to buy put options into the closing bell, let's just put it that way, but tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. we have the jobs report of March coming out. It could move the tape, pre-market. If you guys ask me, I don't think that jobs report is going to make a meaningful difference when it comes to the sentiment of the markets, which as of now is super negative, as you guys can tell, obviously. But it is an important macro data report. So from a discipline standpoint, I couldn't buy some puts into the closing bell and let them run overnight. And I told you guys about that. So that report comes out tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. So you have to keep in mind that when it comes to my pre-market commentary, the one that I am always posting at around 8:20 a.m. or something like that, tomorrow that pre-market commentary is going to be posted later than usual, because we need to wait for that report to come out. The markets will be reacting to it, and at around 9:15 a.m. I should be already letting you guys know the levels of interest in the case of the SPY. And again, there's no need to trade individual stocks, guys. Zero. And if you're doing it, if tomorrow, guys, you try to take some trades to the upside without keeping an eye on the SPY, with Palantir and Sofi and I don't know, Snowflake or whatever, or Tessie, you are very likely to be wrong on that trade. You can trade individual stocks keeping an eye on the SPY. So, for instance, if I told you guys tomorrow on Discord, hey, keep an eye on this level. If the SPY consolidates above that level, the door opens for a higher level. That's a whole different story. So if you happen to see the SPY consolidating above a certain level, maybe you can play the bounce with an individual stock, Sofi or Palantir or whatever, okay? Because again, taking into account the current market condition, the 98% of stocks out there are simply following whatever the SPY or the S&P 500 is doing. So this is something very important that you need to keep in mind. By the way, guys, ugly day across the board. I don't know if you happen to be aware of this. Today we had the worst day for the markets since June of 2020. Most of you guys were not even trading in 2020. I guess. Ugly day across the board. Take a look at this. Russell 2000 down almost 7%. Nasdaq down 6%. The S&P 500 down 4.84%. And the Dow Jones went down today 1,700 points. Unbelievable. Down 4%. Unbelievable. It was a nasty day. Usually, and I've been telling you guys about this fact on multiple occasions. Usually, or for the most part, when we have a very negative day, such as the one that we had today, needless to say, the worst day for the markets in 5 years, usually we have follow through the next day. That's what usually happens. So most people, when it comes to buying the dip and stuff like that, or most experienced, I would say, market participants, do not buy the dip on the first big red day. They buy the dip when we have two very ugly consecutive trading sessions. So if we think about that rule, I think that as a general rule of thumb, the likelihood of having another red day tomorrow is very high, guys. Very high. But you never know what could happen. You know, the markets are super freaking out about tariffs and stuff like that. Maybe, I don't know, Trump posts later on today on Truth Social that he spoke with Xi Jinping and with the president of Sri Lanka, or with the president of, what was the other country? Chad? Or I don't know. Whatever. And that maybe tariffs could be lower. I don't know. Whatever. So we depend on macro news. Not even macro news. We depend on whatever Trump says. I would say, I don't know, like 98% when it comes to what could be potentially happening in the market. So it is a tough market, guys. It is a tough market. Not an easy market to trade, especially if you don't know how to short stocks or buy put options. It's not an easy one. Not at all. But, wow, what a nasty day, guys. What a nasty day. And I don't have a crystal ball, guys, in order to predict this, If tomorrow we happen to have another big red day, I think that the likelihood for us to have some sort of relief rally on Monday would be high. Let's just put it that way. But we'll see what happens tomorrow. So we need to wait for the jobs report in order to be released, and we'll see what happens, guys. Yeah. The worst day for the markets in 5 years. Unbelievable. Yeah, really unbelievable. Yeah. SPY. I mean, you may ask about the SPY. So obviously the chart is completely broken from a technical standpoint. I think that if we don't happen to see a big flush down or a big gap down overnight, our pivot tomorrow might be this one, guys. Put this down on a sticky note. Take a look at this anchor VWAP. This is an anchored volume weighted average. Oh my God, if I can even speak today. This is an anchored volume weighted average price line that comes from where, guys? Take a look. From the first trading session of 2024. This is an AVWAP. Again, anchored volume weighted average price line. So take a look. This AVWAP already acted as support back in April of 2024. Look here. It was tested once again in August of last year. And today it was broken to the downside. What level is this AVWAP signaling? $543.18. So, and again, unless we see a massive gap down overnight, which could happen, I don't know, maybe tomorrow we open at, I don't know, maybe we open at what? At 530 or something like that. But if we happen to open near this level, guys, say that tomorrow we open at, I don't know, at 540, 538, maybe 542. This might be our pivot tomorrow. Above $543, so if the bulls step in order to defend price, over here at this anchored volume weighted average price line that already acted as support on 2 occasions, as you guys can see over here, this could be somehow positive in order to think about a potential relief rally, say. So this is going to be the most important level that I am going to be keeping an eye on tomorrow in the case of the SPY, unless we see a big gap down, as I just said. So $542.50, $543. And take a look. It was tested already on 2 occasions, and it acted as support to the penny. This could be the case once again. Yeah, why not? But aside from that, guys, take a look. The SPY is trading as of now below all the moving averages, below the 100, the 50, the 20, the 200. And take a look at this white line. This is the 5-day moving average, which is downward sloping. This is a technical chart that looks very ugly and that is, as of now, under the total control of sellers. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But say that we actually have a gap down, guys, overnight. So say that tomorrow we open the trading session below this anchor VWAP that comes from the first trading session of 2024. What other level I would be curious about? Take a look. What about $532? And you may ask, where did Alvaro get that level from? Take a look. So $533, guys, happens to be a previous level of resistance back from May of 2024. I can actually pull up a one. Okay, there you go. Take a look. So the SPY made a first test of $533 back in late May, and it was rejected right away. This level is important for the SPY, in my humble opinion. So this is a level 533, at which I would be a bit curious about potential support for the SPY. And maybe the SPY could be bouncing back up from that level. So these are the 2 levels that I am going to be keeping an eye on tomorrow. Again, from a semi-bullish standpoint. $543, a potential process of consolidation above $543 or above the anchored volume weighted average price line that comes from the first trading session of 2024 would be an interesting development. Let's just put it that way. But if we go lower, I am curious about $533. But again, you don't need to be worried about the SPY. I am going to be very active unless something unexpected happens. Tomorrow, I am going to be very active once again in Discord. I'm letting you guys know the most important levels of interest, from my humble opinion, in the case of the SPY. So, do you have any questions, guys, about the current situation of the markets? Do you want me to go any individual stock that maybe you're interested in buying the deeper or something like that? Let me know. And let's make it simple, guys. If you want me to go over some, stocks such as Sofi or Palantir or Apple or whatever, let's make it simple, guys, because my technical analysis is usually, very detailed. But we don't need to be very detailed here, guys. We just need to keep an eye on the SPY. That's it. Okay, so I have here Nvda. Let's go over Nvda. I have an important level for Nvda, guys. And that is something that caught my eye today, guys. Take a look at this. So Nvda, let me pull up here the 4-hour chart. This is in the interesting category. I am not calling out a bottom in the case of Nvda. But take a look at this, guys. Nvda didn't break to the downside $100 today. That's in the interesting category. So, $101 is a previous level of support back from early March. Fair enough. But take a look at who broke a fat number to the downside. And I've been telling you guys that fat numbers in this business are very important. Take a look at the semiconductor ETF, SMH. $200, guys. Broken to the downside today like a hot knife through butter. This is an interesting development, guys. Take a look at the performance of the semiconductor ETF today. Absolutely hammered and decimated today. But in the case of Nvda, buyers were able to sustain price above $100. And don't get me wrong, Nvda got killed today as well, guys. Down 7% or $8. But closed the trading session at $101. Let me pull up here a 1 day, 1 minute chart. And take a look at how some way, somehow, guys, buyers were able to defend price or were able to sustain price above $100. That is interesting. Somehow interesting. Other than that, this technical chart is absolutely broken below the 100, the 200, 50-day moving average, 20 DMA, and the 5-day moving average is downward sloping. And I have another interesting fact for you guys in the case of Nvda. If we take a look at anchored volume weighted average price lines in the case of Nvda, or if we take a look at one very specific AVWAP, and if you guys remember, I just showed you guys an anchored VWAP that, in the case of the SPY, that comes from the first trading session of 2024. Take a look at this AVWAP, guys. This is the same AVWAP that I just showed you guys about, but in the case of the SPY. An anchored volume weighted average price line that comes from the first trading session of 2024. It was tested, in the case of Nvda, back in April of 2024. Tested again back in August of 2024, and it was broken to the downside today. So, if the bulls of Nvda can sustain price above that anchor VWAP, so above $103, and at the same time above $100, which is a fat number, it is an important number, that would be interesting in the case of Nvda. But say that that isn't the case and that Nvda keeps going down, what are we looking at here? The next potential support would be $97. Previous support back from August of 2024, and $90. Also a previous support back from August of 2024. So I think that this is some sort of light at the end of the tunnel for Nvda. But I don't know, maybe it is a train. that is coming on the way of Nvda. Could be. That's interesting. Okay. So I don't know if any of you want to buy the dip because you want to invest, in Nvda at a long term. Yeah, I don't know, maybe $90. The valuation of the stock at the current levels is super attractive. But I know that most of you guys are not interested in valuations, right? But let's see if Nvda happens to be able to hold $100 as support. Maybe that could be attracting buyers, despite the fact that this chart is absolutely broken to the downside. From a disciplined standpoint, guys, for me to buy this dip, and again, from a disciplined standpoint, I would like to see buyers showing some sort of strength. Like, for example, being able to recapture the 5-day moving average, $108. So, say that the bulls are able to hold $100 as support, and if they recapture the 5 DMA above $108, that would be some sort of a more decent technical setup in order to buy the dip on Nvda. But yeah, we can also make the case that if $100 is broken to the downside, buyers could be stepping in near $97 or $90 because those two levels are previous level of support back from last year. It's possible. You know that that when I do my technical analysis, I always take a look at the market structure of the stocks, demand and supply. We don't need to do that today, guys. The supply and the demand of individual stocks couldn't care less in the current market conditions. TSLA. This was one of the victims that I was shooting yesterday when Trump was announcing the tariffs. So TSI went down today 5.47% and it closed the trading session at $267.28. Another very ugly looking short below the 150-day moving average. And take a look, guys. The 200 DMA. Very interesting level, guys. Take a look. So so TSI failed at $290. This was yesterday. Failed once again at $290, which is a level that coincides with the 200-day moving average. This was back in late March. And take a look at how the bulls weren't able either to burst above the 200 DMA back on March 25th. This 200-day moving average has turned into a nightmare for the Tesla bulls. So Tesla pretty much a short if this stock is not able to burst above that 200-day moving average that as of now is signaling $290. And take a look at the 20-day moving average. It acted this in pink, or this pink line. So the 20-day moving average acted as support back on March 31st, and it acted as support yesterday as well. Say that the SPY is going down, and if you guys see TSI breaking $253 to the downside, which happens to be the level that coincides with the 20 DMA, this stock is, in my opinion, a short, more likely than not. What I would need to see, I would need to see confirmation there, guys. TSI breaking to the downside, $253. And say that TSI recaptures this 200 DMA. So say that you see Tesla with the SPY going up, consolidating above $288. That could maybe open the door for a test of the downward sloping 50-day moving average at $310. But again, guys, and this is something that goes for every single stock that I am reviewing today. We are talking about a very aggressive corrective process that we are seeing as of now in the markets. So the main problem that most of these stocks have as of now is the fact that they have a lot of overhead supply. What does that mean? That they have a lot of buyers trapped above the current price. So if you are making some money, guys, and your intention is taking a short-term trade, and if you happen to see, some decent gain or gains, take your money and run. In a bear market, guys, or during a corrective process in the markets, if you don't take profits, the markets will take your money. More likely than not. What a day, bro. 100%. Sure. In the case of TESI, let me pull up here some Anchor VWAPs. TSLA. Let's go ahead and take a look. And there it is. Take a look, guys. An Anchor VWAP that comes from all-time highs is signaling $324. So we know for sure that we have buyers trapped and losing money at $324. And an anchored volume-weighted average price line that comes from the day of the presidential election. After, you guys know that after that day, Tesla, exploded to the upside. So if we take a look at that AVWAP, we get an average price of $333. So this is, not only Tesla, most stocks out there, as of now, are pretty much bag holder central. So any potential process of recovery of the market as a whole, and this also goes for stocks such as Tesla and Nvda, and other stocks. It's going to be a tough one, guys. We have a lot of buyers losing money, trapped at higher levels. So that is something to keep in mind. No doubt about it. Yep. Walmart, you have a put option. Regine, let's go over Walmart. Let me see. Oh, by the way, I didn't show you guys. And speaking of Walmart, which is a stock that trades inside consumer staples, take a look at the performance of the sectors, guys, that trade inside the S&P 500. You should know that inside the S&P 500, we have 11 sectors. So out of the 11 sectors that trade inside the S&P 500, 10 went down today. The only sector that went up and that finished, by the way, the trading session of the highs was consumer staples, XLP. It went up 0.58%. This is a defensive sector. This is a sector that usually goes up when there's fear in the markets. Okay. But take a look at the performance of energy, guys. Down 8%. Insane. Technology, down 7%. Consumer discretionary, down 6%. Industrials, down 5.4%. And now we are supposedly going to be building up a lot of factories in the US, right? Because now every company in the world is going to be manufacturing whatever they do or whatever they sell here in the US, right? That's what we were told yesterday, right? And I am not going to get into a political discussion here. But after that was said yesterday, that every company in the world is going to be manufacturing their stuff here in the US, the industrial sector went down today 5.4%. Unbelievable, guys. Unbelievable. Okay, Walmart, you have a put. This is a tricky one. So Walmart went down today 2.79%. And it closed the trading session at $87.26. Why do I say this is a tricky one? Because Walmart should be affected by tariffs, because most of the stuff that they sell comes from overseas. But nevertheless, it is a very important stock inside the consumer staples sector. So if we happen to see the consumer staples sector keep going higher, as it did today, Walmart could be a beneficiary of that situation. So I wouldn't be short in Walmart, guys, on a day that I have the sector in which Walmart trades going up. You guys need to get familiar with the correlation of the stocks that you trade relative to the sectors that those stocks trade in. You have to be careful here, so keep an eye on XLP, consumer staples. The chart doesn't look good. Walmart is trading as of now below the 50 and the 100-day moving average. The 5 DMA is upward sloping, so this is positive in minor time frames. And take a look at how the 200-day moving average acted as support recently. Take a look at the slope of the 200 DMA. It is upward sloping. It is pushing price up. This would have been the very last stock that I would have shorted today. To be honest with you, I mean, maybe the trade ends up working out for you. I hope for that to be the case. But you have to be careful because, despite the fact that Walmart is a very expensive stock inside the consumer staple sector, if the sector goes up as a whole, as I just said, Walmart could be a beneficiary of that situation. So, if Walmart can consolidate, or I should say recapture rather, the 5 DMA, maybe a potential process of consolidation above $88, which is a level that coincides with the 5-day moving average, could be attracting buyers into this technical short, in which case I wouldn't rule out a test of the 100 DMA at $92. So, since you got Walmart puts, what you really want to see is Walmart break into the downside this 20 DMA. It is downward sloping, so it shouldn't be acting as a very strong support. So say that Walmart breaks $86 to the downside, $86.50-ish. Maybe we could see another test of the upward sloping 200-day moving average at $83. Your price target in order to close those puts should be $83, in my opinion. That moving average is outward sloping as of now. It is a very important moving average. We're talking about the 200 DMA. So I think that Walmart could be finding support once again at around $83.80-ish. Let me take a look at some anchor VWAPs in the case of Walmart to see if I find any meaningful information here. WMT. Walmart. Oh, take a look. This is interesting. Okay, so but what date is this? Now let me delete this. This is July. Now this is not. This is no longer important. Let me see. Take a look. Okay, what is this one? Why do you have this date? Let me see. No. Let me delete this now. I have a bunch of anchor VWAPs that are not really very important. Let me display an anchor VWAP from the most recent all-time highs of Walmart. There you go. Take a look. If we take a look at an anchored volume weighted average price line of Walmart that comes from all-time highs, we get an average price of $90. So we know that we have, I don't know, maybe you end up averaging down on those puts. If so, $91 is an interesting level for Walmart to find resistance and potentially pull back. $91 is a price at which we know that we have buyers trapped from, let me tell you the date, from mid-February, when Walmart reached its most recent all-time highs at $105. $91. That's a spot at which Walmart could be having some trouble. Let me see, $91. Yeah, and this is a level that is pretty much coinciding with the 100-day moving average. So the anchor VWAP that comes from all-time highs is signaling as of now $91, and the 100-day moving average is signaling $92. So that represents some sort of resistance zone between $91 and $92. Walmart could be pulling back from that level. And let me take a look at the market structure of Walmart, because in this case, this technical chart isn't looking that bad. So let me pull it up. Let me see. So this is a market structure chart. On top of this chart, you guys can see the demand or buyers, and the bottom you can see the demand, buyers, supply, sellers. At the bottom you can see the supply. Take a look at the demand. The demand is flat and the supply is rising. So this favors your put options. So in minor time frames, and despite the fact that the 5 DMA is upward sloping, we have more sellers than buyers according to this market structure chart. So that increases the likelihood for this 20 DMA to be broken to the downside at $86. So the market structure kind of favors your bearish perspective on Walmart. There you go. It for 88, positive 70%, but we'll definitely sell in the morning. Okay. Unless Regine, if you see Walmart opening the session below the 20 DMA, you can let those puts run, because that could open the door for a potential test of the upward sloping 200 DMA at $83. Yeah. Microsoft, you're in a put. Okay. This would be this is going to be an easy one. Microsoft down today 2.36%, closed the trading session at $373. Very ugly looking short, guys. Below the 200, 150, 20, and a downward sloping 5 DMA. But $367 could be an interesting spot, guys. Let me see. So $367 acted as support a few days ago. But this is a previous level of support that comes from a long time ago, guys. Take a look. Wow. So $370, guys, is a previous level of resistance back from July of 2023. And it is also a previous level of support back from January of 2024. This is a big level, guys. Wow. I hadn't noticed this. $368, $370. I mean, maybe we could see Microsoft bouncing back up from that level. For me, in order to go long Microsoft, I would need to see buyers showing strength. And as I always tell you guys, do not buy the dip, buy strength after the dip. So I would rather see Microsoft not only bouncing back up from this level, which is an interesting level, $368, $370. I would also like to see Microsoft recapturing the downward sloping 5-day moving average, 378. And again, for this to happen, we need to see the Qs and the SPY going up. You cannot buy calls of Microsoft or try to play a bounce in the case of Microsoft of $368 if the SPY is falling off a cliff. We are on the same page, okay? I guess, right? In regard to that. So, yeah, above $378, maybe this technical short could be attracting buyers. It is a very ugly looking short, guy, and it is a very ugly looking short, needless to say. And mind you, guys, say that tomorrow they keep killing the tape. SPY and the Qs and Trump is crazy and we're headed to a recession and this is the end of the world, blah, 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 blah. If Microsoft breaks $368 to the downside, oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah, we have lower prices coming up for Msft more likely than not. So this stock is at a crossroad, guys. Yeah. I'm not gonna take a look at any anchor. I mean, let's pull up some anchor VWAPs, guys, just to show you how tough the supply above the current price of Microsoft looks like. Buyers trapped all over the place. Take a look at this, guys. The anchor VWAP that comes from all-time highs is signaling $417. These people are losing a lot of money as of now. They started to buy Microsoft at $466 back in July of 2024, and as of now, they have an average price of $418. Horrible. And take a look at this other anchor VWAP coming from the first trading session of 2024. So these market participants have an average price of $415. Again, guys, a lot of overhead supply over here. So any potential process of recovery of Microsoft is going to be a tough one, guys. We're going to see Microsoft pulling back from a lot of levels above the current price because we are going to see we will have a lot of market participants that are losing money on Microsoft as of now, closing their positions, breaking even. It's a tough one. Yeah, it's a tough one. CrowdStrike, CRWD. CrowdStrike shouldn't be affected by tariffs, right? I mean, I don't know, guys. And again, I don't want to get into a political discussion here, but someone posted in my Discord today that Macron, he's the president of France, was encouraging French companies to stop working with American companies. I don't know, maybe CrowdStrike has some French customers. You never know, right? Okay, CrowdStrike down today 6.49%, and it closed the trading session at $347.39. Keep an eye on the 200-day moving average, guys. This red line, the 200 DMA, it is signaling as of now $335. If that 200 DMA is broken to the downside with the SPY going down and the Qs going down and so forth, the door could open for $304. Previous level of support back from March 10th. Oh yeah. And take a look, guys. Over here we have like some sort of spider of moving averages. The 50-day moving average is signaling $384. The 100 is signaling $371. The 5 signals $358, and the 20-day moving average is signaling $354. So this is a brutal level of potential resistance for CrowdStrike, from $354, 20 DMA, up to the 50 DMA at $386. And I think, guys, if I remember correctly, that between these moving averages, we have an anchor VWAP. Let me pull up here some AVWAPs in the case of CrowdStrike. CRWD. Don't we? No, we don't. But let me pull up an anchor VWAP from all-time highs. And there it is. Take a look. $364. Right at the, or pretty much at the 100-day moving average. So the average market participant that started a position on CrowdStrike back on mid-February at $459 as of now has an average price of $365-ish. What do you guys think those market participants are more likely to do whenever CrowdStrike hits $364 again? They are very likely to close their positions. So for me, in order to go long CrowdStrike, I would need to see this stock trading above the 50-day moving average, $386. And take a look at how this 50 DMA coincides with a previous level of resistance back from mid-March. Above $386, $387, I would become constructive about this stock. And this is a no-touch, guys, in my opinion, below $386. And say that tomorrow the trading session opens and we see a test of the 20-day moving average at $356. And if it happens to be an unsuccessful test, or if it happens to be an unsuccessful one, we could see CrowdStrike paying a visit down to the 200 DMA, guys, $334. And if this 200-day moving average is broken to the downside, guys, $334, I think that you can short CrowdStrike with both hands. Because the door could open for a test of $303. There you go. Let me take a look. Guys, although you don't believe it, 48 minutes. So I started streaming for the guys of my Patreon today at 9 a.m. I closed that stream at 4 p.m. Then I started streaming for you guys. And once I am done streaming for you, I am going to be making a video in Spanish. It's been a long day, so I shouldn't be streaming for longer than an hour here because I'm very tired. It's been a long day. And I was, trading throughout the trading session and stuff like that. Excuse me. But we've gone over a bunch of stocks here, right? Let me see. Sofi, my blowfi. You guys are always asking about Sofi. Yeah, it's in Spanish. Yeah, it's in Spanish. Yeah. It's in Spanish. Yeah. So I am not pitching you anything. Oh my God, take a look at Sofi. Stay away from this, please. Down today 14%, and it closed the trading session at $10. Forget it, guys. Below the 200-day moving average, so below $11.33. Forget about it. This short is totally broken, guys. Below the 100, the 50-day moving average, the 20, the 5 DMA is downward sloping. This could be a short, guys. Say that I don't know, say that Sofi tries to go higher tomorrow. And if you guys happen to see this stock struggling at bursting above the upward sloping 200 DMA, so if you guys happen to see Sofi finding resistance at $11.25, this could be a short. Yep. I wouldn't touch it here, guys. I mean, this is a very ugly looking short. Again, don't buy the dip, buy strength after the dip. For me to be interested or somehow interested in Sofi, I would need to see this stock recapturing the 200, the 5, and the 20 DMA. Say maybe a potential process of consolidation above $12.22, maybe. With the markets going up, the SPY, the Qs, and stuff like that. I don't know, maybe Trump, changed his mind about tariffs, or I don't know, something like that. What could be the next potential gap to the upside? Let's see. Here I can visualize a previous level of support for Sofi back from what? Back from this is mid-October. $9.50. This could be the next potential gap to the downside. Very ugly looking short, guys. Uploving. Let me see. Would you hold Sofi if you have or sell and cut losses? I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's your plan, right? I don't know what trade you have on Sofi. Maybe you purchased shares. Maybe it is a small position relative to the size of your portfolio. Maybe you got calls, but you have, I don't know, October calls or something like that. It depends on the size of your portfolio. Most of you guys have small portfolios. You shouldn't allow an option, guys, to have a loss greater than 30%. If you have a $5,000 portfolio, $10,000 portfolio, something like that, small portfolio, that's a small portfolio. Your main mission is protecting that capital. You shouldn't allow an option to have a loss greater than 30%. Yeah. Uploving is supposedly interested in buying TikTok. Down today 9%, closed the trading session at $261.98. Another very ugly looking short. Below all the moving averages. I don't know, guys. Take a look at the 200 DMA. Upward sloping, still downward sloping, despite the fact that uploving is trading how much? 50% of the high. Jesus. So this is an interesting spot, guys. Despite the fact that this technical short is absolutely broken from any perspective. But $223 is a level that coincides with the 200 DMA, which happens to be still upward sloping, that is positive, and with a previous level of support back from mid-March. This is a level at which uploving could be finding buyers, or that could be coming across with buyers. 225. If you guys want to maybe take a shot. Other than that, the short is totally broken below a downward sloping 5 DMA, the 20 DMA, 100, 50. This is a very ugly looking short, guys. So let me take a look at some anchor VWAPs here of uploving APP. I don't know. An anchored volume weighted average price line that comes from all-time highs signals as of now $325. So if we happen to see a big rally on uploving, this is a potential spot in order to fade the rip. And other than that, I don't know, guys. For me to go on uploving, again, most of the shorts, guys, that we are going over today are shorts that are completely broken from a technical standpoint. So again, do not buy the dip. Buy strength after the dip. I would need to see buyers showing strength here, guys. Maybe, I don't know, recapturing the 20-day moving average. Say that uploving recaptures 287. This could open the door for a test of a previous level of resistance at $313. That, by the way, is very close from this anchor VWAP. Yeah, this AVWAP that comes from all-time highs is signaling $325. But you have to be careful with most of the stocks out there because the shorts look ugly. Yeah, very ugly, guys. 100%. Let me see. Babita. Let's go over Baba. I think that Baba also got killed today, guys. What a tough day, guys. I mean, think about this. And I don't know, most of you guys maybe are starting out in this business, right? Most of you guys are newies. Today we had the biggest sell-off in the markets since 2020, guys. 5 years. It was a nasty day, guys. So if you were able to survive today's trading session, and most of you guys did, I mean, you learned an important lesson. Yeah, sure. I know, and I guess that most of you guys have, some losing positions here and there, or maybe you guys are starting to maybe invest at a long term and stuff. Bear markets, guys, and corrective process, or a corrective process in the markets is I mean, that's a situation that you need to visualize as an opportunity in order to learn. You learn way more about the markets during a downturn than during a bull market, guys. The most important lessons that I have learned in this business were learned during a bear market. So you guys have to be proud of yourselves. Yeah. It isn't easy, mostly when you're starting out. It is tough. When you have experience, you know how to deal with these kind of situations. But for the ones that are starting out, you have to see this downturn as an opportunity in order to learn. And the more you learn in this business, the easier it becomes. Correct, for sure. Yeah, sure. You guys have to be proud of yourselves. I mean, today was the worst day in 5 years, guys. Today's was serious business. So maybe we don't see another day like this one in 5 years. So think about that. Let that sink in. Baba, this is a technical chart that is looking way better relative to the chart that we just go over. Upward sloping 200 upward sloping 200 DMA, 100 DMA, upward sloping 50-day moving average. And so Baba is trading below the 5-day moving average. The 5 DMA is starting to downward slope, which is not positive in minor time frames. So ideally, guys, I would need to see Baba recapturing the 5-day moving average at $131, and more importantly, recapturing the 20-day moving average at $137. Above $137, I would be constructive about Baba, and I might think about giving Baba a shot here, guys. And $137 is a level that coincides not only with the 20-day moving average, but also with a previous level of resistance for Baba back from late March. So above 137, the short looks very good. And I mean, the short relative to the short that I just went over is showing relative strength, because Baba is trading above an upward sloping 50 DMA, 100 DMA, 200 DMA. This is positive. Take a look at how the upward sloping 50-day moving average has acted as support during the last 2 trading sessions. That is also positive. But I don't necessarily like the fact that the 5 DMA is downward sloping. So in order to go long Baba, I would need to see it above $137. A potential process of consolidation of Baba above $137 could be opening the door for a test of a previous level of resistance at $150. Let me take a look at an anchor VWAP that comes from the most recent 52-week high of Baba. Let's check that out. Let me display an anchor VWAP from here. And take a look, guys. You get an average price. If we take a look at an anchored volume weighted average price line that comes from the most recent 52-week high of Baba, we get an average price of $135. What a coincidence. $136 coincides with the 20-day moving average that I just pointed out. So above 137 bucks, I think that we can go long BABA. And let me take a look at the market structure in the case of BABA, because the chart looks good, despite the fact that we have a downward sloping 5 DMA, or doesn't look as bad as the other charts that I have gone over today. So take a look, guys. Demand on top, supply at the bottom, demand buyers, supply sellers. The demand is starting to go up after having dropped. That is positive, and the supply or sellers is going down. With this market structure, guys, which looks encouraging, BABA takes out 137, 138. I'm going long BABA. Yeah, no problem. Yep. Oh, yep. Guys, an hour. I gotta go. It's been a long day for me. You know, I'm working since 6 a.m. So I think that tomorrow we are going to have a lot of fun. And let me ask you something. Who is going to be keeping an eye on my Discord channel? Raise your hand. Who will be paying attention to my call-outs tomorrow? Come on. Raise your hand. Or say, I don't know. Me. Come on. No one. Only Tangela? Solograms. Wedlow. I'm always there. There you go. Who else? Shay. Kanika. Come on, guys. I need a lot of motivation. Dan. There you go. Who else? Emil. There you go. Do you guys want me to be as active as possible in Discord tomorrow? Calling balls and strikes? Yeah, I think that we are going to have some fun tomorrow. Oh yeah. We're going to have some fun tomorrow for sure. Okay, guys, so thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and enjoy the rest of your day. And congrats. You guys just went through the worst day for the markets in 5 years. Yeah, I give credit where it is due. Awesome. Is SPY going up tomorrow? Let me ask my crystal ball, Silvio. I don't know. Thank you, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day, okay? See you guys tomorrow in Discord. Take care. Thank you for watching and thank you for listening, okay? Bye. Take care. Bye-bye.